Good morning. I'm Marge Battle. Welcome to this week's edition of Education and Perspectives from Medgar College of the City University of New York, WNYE Channel 25. I'm standing here in the amphitheater this morning, and right now it's empty, but in a few minutes it will be filled with many, many graduates who will be realizing the culmination of their dream. We invite you to join us this morning for the 25th commencement exercises of Medgar Evers College. We hope you will enjoy the program. This is part one, and we hope you'll join us next week for part two of Education and Perspectives as we present the 1996 25th anniversary graduation commencement exercises.
You may be seated. What a relief, huh? As president of Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York, I now declare the 25th commencement exercise in session and call upon Ms. Katie Davis, chairperson of the Medgar Evers College Community Council, to bring words of welcome. The Honorable Katie Davis.
Mr. President, students, faculty, desk, guests, as chairperson of the Community Council of Medgar Evers College, I welcome you this 25th commencement ceremony. Please let us rise and sing one stanza of the national anthem.
Please remain standing for the invocation that will be offered by Reverend Jacqueline Bullock, the college chaplain.
All-wise and eternal God, we come this morning with a grateful heart, and we're so glad to come together for a joyous occasion. We're glad that we are indeed marching on to victory, for we know that you are a God of victory, of liberation, and creativity. We thank you for the graduates, for the honor students, and for all students. We thank you, O God, for family and friends and loved ones. We thank you for our commencement speakers and for our faculty and staff and President Jackson and all the others who labor here so diligently. But most of all, we thank you for the opportunity to teach, to learn, and to serve. So we invite your blessings upon all that we say and do here. We invite your presence, and we tell you thank you even in advance for all that you will do. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Bullock. On behalf of the trustees of the City University of New York, the faculty, the staff, and students of Medgar Evers College, and the Medgar Evers College Community Council, it is my pleasure to welcome parents, spouses, significant others, children, families, and honored guests to our 25th commencement ceremony. Since the establishment of the first university, the tradition has been one of awarding through ceremony acknowledgement of academic achievement. Following that tradition, and in the name of Medgar Wally Evers, a symbol of courage, freedom, and perseverance, we have assembled here today to honor the men and the women of the class of 1996. We know that the degrees and certificates to be awarded here today represent sacrifices for many families as well as sustained and earnest efforts on the part of all of the graduates. It is a great occasion in the lives of our students and their families. We salute and acknowledge their achievement. It is now my distinct honor to present the Honorable Charles E. Ennis, a member of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, who will bring greetings from the Board of Trustees. The Honorable Charles Ennis.
What a wonderful morning to be with you in this special place. Whenever I come to Medgar Evers College, I think of Medgar Evers as a special place. Certainly because Medgar Evers has become a shining gem in the crown jewels of the crown of the City University system. So I'm delighted to be here. Good morning, distinguished members of the dais, faculty, staff, students, friends and family of the graduates and graduates of the class of 1996. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York and the more than 206,000 degree credit students and 150,000 adult and continuing education students who are enrolled throughout the 5 boroughs of the City of New York. To you, the graduates, I offer our sincere congratulations and best wishes for your continued success. And I believe that success will be easier for you to obtain now that you're equipped with a higher education. Graduates, you're living in a very historic time. Historic because you are graduating from an institution that is celebrating its 25th year of providing quality educational services to the citizens of this great city of New York. Historic also because you are receiving your degrees at a time when the world is changing so rapidly that we are all hard-pressed to keep up with these changes. Consequently, your attainment of higher education is more important now than it has ever been, because the only thing that will guarantee you a better life is the extent of your education and your ability to use that education to influence your future. You have every right to be proud of your accomplishments today. You are a prime example of the old adage that the victory is reserved for those who have the stamina to persevere. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of New York, congratulations and best wishes to you all. God bless you.
We would like to thank Trustee Ennis for those wonderful remarks and to say to him, we thank you for the support that you have given to Medgar Evers College over these 25 odd years, both in your capacity as trustee of this university and also as vice president with Brooklyn Union Gas. We thank you for all that you have done for us. I now call upon Vice Chancellor Robert Diaz, who is serving as the General Counsel and Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs of the City University of New York. He will bring greetings on behalf of our Chancellor, Deborah Ann Reynolds. Vice Chancellor Diaz.
Good morning. On behalf of the Chancery and all of us who labor in central administration, I want to say to the class of 96 that I'm very pleased to be able to share, to be here, to be able to share in this very proud day. You're not the only ones who are feeling pride today. Your parents and friends in the audience here are filled with pride. The faculty and administration of Medgar Evers College are filled with pride. And we at Central Administration are filled with pride in your achievement. Not only are we proud, but we share in the joy of your accomplishment, because your success, your graduation today, is the measure of our success. I wish to leave to the class of 96 a few words. Godspeed to you, continued success. And whatever you achieve in life, whatever prestige, power, wealth you acquire, remember the less fortunate. Extend a helping hand to those in need. This will enrich your life much more than anything you might accomplish in this worldly endeavor. Congratulations.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Diaz. Now I'll call upon Ms. Julene Rowe, President of the Student Government Association of Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York, who will bring greetings on behalf of the student body. President Rowe.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. Good morning, President Jackson, Vice Chancellor Diaz, Trustee Inez, members of the dais, distinguished guests, graduates, friends, and family. As the President of the Student Government Association of Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York, I bring you greetings. To you, our distinguished graduates, I bring special greetings because you are a great investment. 20th century's gift to the 21st century. Investment, as you may know, can be defined as spending that is for the production and accumulation of capital goods. Capital goods can be defined into two: human capital and non-human capital, such as goods and services. You can define human capital as any action taken to increase the productivity of workers, expenditure made to improve the education or mobility of workers. Now, what do we mean by increase the productivity? By that we mean improving the skills and ability of workers. You are the workers, and as graduates, you are a great investment. The ability as a great investment has been imparted to you here at Medgar. There is no register that can measure the quality and the true value of you. You may think that you are not very powerful, but if you've plugged into God, the Creator, you are plugged into the source of all power, and everything will be all right. I say that you are a great investment. You have invested in yourselves, love, money, time, and energy. Many of your family members have invested in you, love, money, time, material, trust, and support. Rise and thank them. You are a great investment. Your teachers have invested their knowledge in you. The administration has invested its support. The community has provided you with the necessary lights, yellow lights, red lights, and green lights, signals to guide you along the way. Here at Medgar Evers College, You've been exposed to educational and recreational training for your general education, your major field of study, your basic skills education, your personal and social development, and preparation for graduates and professional studies. You are now earthly avenues, boulevards, gateways, waterways, and skyways that will lead us to a better future. You've learned about science, technologies, and mathematics. You've explored human concerns. You have been made more aware of verbal and nonverbal communication. You've discussed science and space and social rules about space. You've developed the vocabulary of the language of different disciplines. You have learned about the wisdom of people of your culture and that of diverse cultures. You have gained an understanding of labeling and expression of feelings. You've discussed the subject of love in different forms. You've learned how to evaluate human needs and concerns. You've been taught how to do critical thinking. You have gained information about health and success and health and failure. You've learned to accept the challenges that come along with sitting alone with our own conscience. You've learned the importance of good ethics. For example, 9 a.m. is the time to start to work, not the arrival time. You've learned not to spend hours getting ready to go to work, and when you get to work, to spend the work time getting ready to go home. Yes, you've learned how to handle success and to deal squarely and honestly with failure. You've learned how to build social and business networks. You've been taught how to differentiate strangers from acquaintances and friends. Yes, you've learned how to deal with life and even how to deal with death. You've learned how to stand up for all people, especially for our children. You've learned how to make the life with choices and assume full responsibilities for these choices and at the same time to be prepared for long and short range consequences. Much has been invested in you. You are trusted to go out and reinvest your investment, you and others. As investors and investments, let us accept the warning that Langston Hughes gives us in his poem, The Debt, which I paraphrase. This is the price one will pay for just one riotous day, years and years of regret, and very, very high interest. Accept the warning as you invest or as you are invested. Enjoy your life, but know that no conditions in this life are permanent. Invest in and protect yourselves. Take time to smell the roses. To quote the words of the Bard of Avon, William Shakespeare, in this our life, exempt from public haunt, find tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. Apply this message. Do not change it. Society depends on you. Enjoy your life and never forget that you are more precious than silver. You are more precious than gold. You and you and you are a great investment. Congratulations and good luck.
I want to thank President Rowe for those remarks and to say to the graduates that that was your final lesson coming from a fellow student. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the day's guests. First, I'd like to acknowledge my wife, Mrs. Florence E. Jackson, First Lady. Now you can hold your applause until I introduce everyone else. Provost Novosiki, Provost and Dean of Academic Affairs, Dean Alan Singleton, Assistant Dean of the School of Business and Public Administration, Dean Deborah Shanley, Assistant Dean of the School of Liberal Arts and Education, Dr. Hiroko Karen, Assistant Dean of the School of Science, Health, and Technology, the Honorable Katie Davis, President of the Medgar Evers College Community Council, Dr. Doris Withers, Assistant Provost, Mrs. Andrea Williams, valedictorian, class of 1996, Ms. Julian Rowe, President of Medgar Evers College Student Government Association, Ms. Tamika Harrison, Senior Class President, Dr. Betty Shabazz, Director of Institutional Advancement, Public Affairs, and Special Attaché, the Reverend Dr. Jacqueline Bullock, College Chaplain, the Honorable Trustee Charles Ennis, the Honorable Carl Andrews, President of the Medgar Evers College Alumni Association, Vice Chancellor Robert Diaz, Dr. Nathaniel Izuma, Chairperson of the Department of Accounting, Finance, Economics, and Business Law, Dr. Joyce Soller, Chairperson for the Department of Management, Computer Applications, and Public Administration, Dr. Charlotte Phoenix, Chairperson for the Department of Education. I see she has a cheering squad out there. Dr. Brenda Green, Chairperson for the Department of Languages, Literature, Communication Skills, and Philosophy. Dr. Thomas Edwards, Chairperson for the Department of Social and Behavioral Science. Dr. Edward Catapane, Chairperson for the Department of Biology. Dr. Mary Umalu, Chairperson for the Department of Mass Communication, Creative and Performing Arts. And a distinguished honor, Grand Marshal. Dr. Kweku Armar, Dean of Student Affairs. Dr. Emmanuel Gonzalez, Dean of Strategic Plan and Research and Development. Mr. Arthur Taylor, Dean of Finance and Administration. Dr. Nan Fisher-Williams, Dean of Legal and Regulatory Affairs and Chief of Staff. Dean E. Thomas Oliver, Assistant Dean of the School of Continuing Education and External Programs. Mr. Bernard Gant, Registrar. Dr. Charles Jones, Director of Labor Relations. Dr. Bertie Gilmore, Chairperson for the Department of Nursing. Dr. Leon Johnson, Chairperson of the Department of Physical Science and Computer Science. Dr. Suzanne Nicolescu, Chairperson for the Department of Library and Information Services. Dr. Shirley Smith, Chairperson for the Department of Special Programs. Mr. Fontaine Davis, Director of Freshman Year Program. Mr. Lincoln Sessom, Executive Director of Admissions and Recruitment. Professor Yvonne Bennett, President of the Medgar Evers College Faculty Senate. Dr. Margaret Baker Green, Special Assistant to the President. Would you please give them all a round? Graduates, we are blessed today to have two commencement speakers to celebrate the culmination of a year-long observance of our 25th anniversary. Both of these speakers, by their work, represent the best in the African tradition. They acknowledge that what they are today is not of their own power, but of God. They understand the power and the influence of the Creator as He works in and through their lives. The Honorable Floyd H. Flake. was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1986 to represent New York's 6th Congressional District, Queens. And prior to his seating in the 99th Congress, the Honorable Floyd Flake neither held nor sought any other elective office. His election represented a grassroots effort to bring more focus and greater understanding of Americans' urban agenda to Congress. That agenda is characterized by a desire to improve the long-term economic fortunes of residents of urban communities by marrying the strengths of the private and public sectors. Congressman Flake maintains that private sector involvement at all levels of public policy ultimately increases the economic viability and growth of an urban community. In his role as pastor of the Allen African Methodist Episcopal Church in Jamaica, New York, Reverend Flake has built a dynamic ministry which served tens of thousands of residents and parishioners throughout New York City. In Congress, Congressman Flake has distinguished himself as a leading advocate of national policies to make local community and economic development more achievable. And as a senior member of the House Committee on Banking and Financial Services and the Committee on Small Business, he has labored to create new initiatives and to preserve successful programs that aid underserved and underdeveloped communities. The Bank Enterprise Act of 1994, authored by Congressman Flake, is regarded as one of the most economically viable elements of the Community Development Financial Institution Act of 1994. The Bank Enterprise Act is intended to attract new and increase investments in underserved communities by creating significant incentives for financial institutions to participate in qualified lending activities. In this Congress, Congressman Flake is the senior Democrat on the Committee on Banking and Financial Services Subcommittee on Domestic and International Monetary Policy. And depending upon the election in November, his position might change to not only be the senior Democrat, but be something else. So vote, Chairman. His ranking member status provides a forum in which he examines opportunity for U.S. investment in emerging economies around the world and the role of future United States involvement in that world. He has distinguished himself in the area of economic development because he knows that without economic power, we cannot survive in a quality way. So we are grateful to him for focusing his energies in the direction of creating economic opportunities for those of us who live in urban America. Now, as his other hat, as pastor of the Allen AME Church since 1976, the Reverend Dr. Floyd Flake has overseen the explosive growth of the church from a congregation of 1,400 with an annual budget of $250,000 to a congregation of nearly 7,000 and an annual budget of $4.5 million. This growth has been transformed into a meaningful community institution for parishioners as well as the residents of New York City. The church has completed a number of successful community development projects, including a 300-unit senior citizen complex, a Christian school, a multi-purpose center which serves over 400 students. The multi-service center also serves such diverse communities needs as health care, Head Start, psychiatric services, and a women, infant, and children program. Reverend Flake has built 61 affordable homes, has another 96 homes under construction. He also established a home care agency to assist elderly and infirm individuals, and the total budget of the church and its subsidiaries is nearly $24 million, which supports an employment base of 800,000. Born in Los Angeles, California, Reverend Dr. Congressman Flake attended the public schools of Houston, Texas. He received an undergraduate degree from Wilberforce University and has studied in graduate programs at Payne Theological Seminary in Ohio and Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts. And in 1994, he earned a doctorate degree from the United Theological Seminary in Dayton, Ohio. He is married to the former M. Elaine McCollins of Memphis, Tennessee, and they are the proud parents of 2 daughters and 2 sons. Graduates, colleagues, and family and friends, it is with extreme pleasure and honor that I introduce and present the Honorable Reverend Dr. Congressman Floyd Flake.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. With that introduction, I started to just leave because I think I'm ahead, but I realized that being here at Medgar Evers is an event that I could not afford to miss. I've known this president now for about 10 years, introduced by my friend, the Reverend Fred Lucas of Bridge Street AME Church, to see this institution finally being recognized and given the appropriate response by this city, the appropriate response by those who are the powers that be, largely because of the confidence that they have placed in this man, Edison Jackson. I think we ought to give him a big hand because he's done a great job for us. To Charles Ennis of the board, to Mr. Diaz, who has worked with us very diligently in preserving the college in our community, your college, where we will be on Monday morning. To those who occupy this podium who will be speakers or have been speakers, to the parents, to you, the many graduates of Medgar Evers College. Let me tell you that I'm here in spite of the fact that 2 hours from now, my own daughter will be graduating with honors at St. John's University from St. Francis Prep School. But I could not allow this opportunity to pass by because I believe that although I must attend her graduation in order to stay married and to keep my own household together, that it was important to come to Brooklyn to share with you in this experience. Now, if you've heard the introduction, you do understand that in the course of this address, if I should forget that it is a speech or that it is an address and go to preaching, it is what I do most frequently at Allen AME Church. This morning, I'd like to just share with you from the topic of a book that I recently read, and I hope many of you have read it as well. It's written by Nathan McCall, and the topic of the book is Makes Me Wanna Holler. As I read the book, I found there were so many points of personal identification, so many points in his book where I realized that his life could have just as easily have been my life. And I'm sure that there are points in the book that could have just as easily have been your life. It talks about the trauma of growing up in a segregated environment in Richmond, Virginia, and in that environment being introduced to all of the positives as well as the negatives that embody the essence of life for all of us as human beings. It talks of his struggles, his fights, the war against being drawn to the temptation of those things which could be destructive for his life, while at the same time having some counterbalance by virtue of a mother and a stepfather who in so many ways tried to teach him that which was appropriate, that which was right and correct. Many of us sit here today not because we have been a perfect people, but in large measure because we came to points in our life when we had to make choices, when we had to make decisions, and had we made the wrong decisions, we would not find ourselves here, but we are part of that ever-increasing population of many of our young people who sit in jails, who have become a part of the system in ways that it appears that they will never be able to fulfill the innate potential and possibility that God has given unto them. And so I congratulate you because you have had moments in your life when you could have given up, and yet you have persevered. Moments in your life when the challenges appeared to be so great that you never dared to even dream that the day would come when you would join the myriads of others who this day and this week and this month all over this country graduate from institutions of higher education. And I congratulate you for that. But I want you to be reminded this morning that even with the degree in your hand, it will not mean that there will not be moments in your life when you will not want to holler, when there will not be events that will present themselves to you that will make you want to fall down on your knees and cry. Yet because you have received this privilege of attending Medgar Evers College, to this day receive your degree, I come to you with the challenge that hollering will not be enough. The challenge for the success of our people, the challenge for the success of our nation, for our world, and for your future and children yet unborn will be largely determined by the decisions that you make. You have already overcome many a challenge, but let me remind you that there are many a challenges yet for you to face. It makes me want to holler every time I see a child cut down long before they're able to reach the point of even understanding what life is all about. As long as children are dying on playgrounds in this nation, as long as so much of our population is housed in public housing, as long as so many of our people do not have access to the ability to provide for themselves in a manner that suggests that they are equally that they are equally citizens of this nation as are others, or find themselves continually pushed back by virtue of the fact that we are willing to make investments abroad that we are not willing to make at home, it makes me want to holler. When I realize that the urban communities of America, in many instances, have become synonymous with the third world nations of other countries, as measured by the fact that our high crime rates, the rate of the number of our young people who die even at the stage of their, at prenatal stages or postnatal stages of birth, the number of our people who have not been able to break their way through the glass ceiling, the number of our people who are locked in communities where services have disappeared, where people don't seem to understand that if you're going to talk about a colorblind society, you cannot blame the people who stayed. You have to blame the people who left for causing these communities to be segregated in the first place. It seems to me to be problematic for those who have moved out to the suburbs to look back into urban America and suggest that the people in urban communities do not want the same thing for themselves and for their children and for future generations that they want. It is not African Americans who left urban communities. It is the people who live there who took their resources and yet from their suburban estates want to maintain the control of these urban communities. I say that if white flight drove you out, then go there and create jobs and allow us the privilege of creating jobs and opportunities for our people in the places where we live. It is not to suggest that all teachers who teach African Americans must be black. It is not to suggest that every policeman must be black or that every civil servant must be black, but it is to suggest if you develop a suburban attitude and you can but look with disdain at the end of your noses at those that you try to educate or those for whom you are responsible for creating a safe environment in which to live, then stay in the suburbs and give us the responsibility of building these urban communities. I am by no means a segregationist. I am by no means a racist, but I am a pragmatist. And the pragmatic reality is that as long as we live, there will be ethnic communities. And if our ethnic community is to be defined as one that is strong and powerful, it cannot be one where we continue to glorify poverty. It must be one where we understand our personal responsibility, our individual right, and understand what it means to invest in ourselves even when others will not invest in us. It is appropriate to argue, yes, for the continuation of affirmative action program, but I also would urge you that even as you make the argument, to understand that if you have affirmative action and you do not have a people who are ready to take advantage of every opportunity that is offered, then it will do us no good, and we will find ourselves in the same predicament 30 years or 40 years from now. We had a glorious moment. Those who, like myself, have crossed the threshold of their 50th year of life, who were able to live through the civil rights movement of the 1960s, who now wonder if it is not time for another civil rights movement. But this civil rights movement cannot be one in which we merely march. It cannot be merely one of which we ask the government to give us something. This next civil rights movement must be one in which we ask of ourselves, how much are we willing to invest in ourselves? It is not just a matter of talking about what it means to be an American living in a democracy, but it must become a question that all of us raise, even as we look at all of the reasons that we could raise about whether or not we have the wherewithal to be able to take care of our personal responsibilities. We can never become a powerful people as long as our children, who are yet children themselves, are making babies. We can never become a powerful people as long as a significant portion of our population are making poor choices, which gives a hand to those who are willing to spend resources building jails rather than putting those resources into building schools. We cannot become a powerful nation as long as our communities, the storefronts that occupy the commercial strips therein, are places that are barren, places that are empty, places that have been left behind since the riots of the 1960s without any rehabilitation or development. We must create in those places the jobs in the small business sector, which is the largest growing sector in American society, where the people in those communities can make the choice not to stand out in front of those buildings selling drugs, but to move into those buildings and produce legitimate businesses. And with those legitimate businesses, to create job opportunities for the many young people who need a place where they develop the necessary work ethic and the kind of work discipline that allows them to be able to one day march as you are marching today and have a degree in hand, go out into the world and say, I'm here not because I'm black, I'm here because I'm bright, I'm smart, I'm brilliant, I'm capable, and I will not be turned around. I was formerly the dean of students at Boston University. A bishop came and asked me if I would come to New York and pastor Allen AME Church. Its membership then was 1,200. Its membership now is 8,300. I came to an urban community, and people told me about what African American people could not do. It made me want to holler. But rather than hollering, I came to the conclusion that if other people could do it, so could we. We've been able to build senior citizens our own school, been able to buy up every vacant commercial block, every commercial store. We put people in business because we realize that if we're going to live in a capitalistic society, we must be a part of it. We cannot exclude ourselves. But if we are a part of it, we must do it with a sense of morality. It does not mean that we have to leave others behind, but we must take everybody along with us. And the way we take them along with us is to make sure that they understand that even in this society, there is a place for them, and that economics cannot be taken off the table as it often is, but that we have an inclusive part in assuring our own survival by developing for ourselves the necessary tools for our survival. What makes you think that this government or any government is going to empower you when you come with your hand out begging? It's time to stop the begging. It's time to begin investing in ourselves. I'm tired of hollering. I'm tired of marching. I'm tired of talking about what everybody else is doing. It's time for us to make a determination of what we are going to do for ourselves. It makes me want to holler that we can be so negative, that we can be so cynical, that we fail to understand that in spite of the changes that are taking place around us, the changes that are impacting our lives, we still have the power to reverse it, the power to change it. That power is within all of us. Let me close by inviting you to join with me in the book of Habakkuk. Here is a man who has seen the suffering of his people. He is a prophet. A prophet is always concerned not only about the now, but also concerned about the future. This prophet Habakkuk finds himself arguing with God, complaining about the condition of his people, without understanding that the condition of his people is not fully the responsibility of those who keep them in oppression. They have been oppressed by the Chaldeans. They have been oppressed by the Assyrians. They have been oppressed by the Amalekites. Now they're at a point, at a stage, where they must make a decision about what to do with their life. Habakkuk sits back and complains. Let me suggest to you today that complaining will not give you the victory. It is only when you understand that when complaints are finished and all of your hollering has ceased, that you must begin to work toward some positive conclusion to whatever it is that causes the problem. And so here he is in the third chapter of a three-chapter text. And in that chapter, he comes to the conclusion that he cannot win this battle. He cannot overcome his circumstances, that oppression will never be able to be lifted, that there will be no dissipation of the conditions that somehow have kept them enslaved, until he comes to the realization that somehow by the power of God, in spite of the circumstances, there is a power within him to make a difference and to bring about the change. And he concludes by saying, though the fig tree does not bear any figs, though the grapevine does not bear any grapes, though the cattle stall is empty, though the field has no harvest, though the sheep are not in the field, yet I find my strength in the Lord, and by that strength in God, I know that I have the power to overcome, the power to make a difference, the power to bring about change. I say to you today, don't spend all of your arguments concerned about whether or not Democrats or Republicans are going to be in power. Don't spend all of your time worrying about who will be in control of the Congress. The question that I ask you today, who's in control of your life? And when you take control of your life, when you take control of your destiny, when you realize that everything is not perfect, even when you finish hollering, get up, stand up, stand tall. Let the world know that I am going to make a difference. I'm going to bring about change by responding positively to every challenge. You can holler as loud and as long as you want, but until you roll up your sleeves, make a difference by investing in yourself and investing in the lives of others, life will not change for you. I've had some good times. I've had some bad times. I've been up and I've been down. But one thing I've learned in my life, if you maintain your faith, hold on and wait until the morning. There is a truism that comes out of the Word of God. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy, I say joy, surely comes in the morning.
Who's in control of your life? Who's in control of your life? All right. Reverend Dr. Floyd Flake, we thank you for those words. We thank you for not being ashamed of who's in control of your life. And it's clear that you touch a responsive chord in the minds of our graduates. Today I have the privilege to bestow upon the Reverend Dr. Floyd Flake the Presidential Medal for his work, his commitment to excellence, and a willingness to do the unthinkable. The Presidential Medal is the highest honor that a president of a college or university can bestow upon a person short of the honorary doctorate degree, which is a Board of Trustees singular honor. The Presidential Medal symbolizes continuity, authority, character, and justice. It has also been used to acknowledge the meritorious achievement of which the Reverend Dr. Congressman Floyd Flake is so deserving today. Reverend Dr. Flake. It is with great honor and pleasure that I present the Presidential Medal to our distinguished speaker. I'm not sure you can get it on your head.
Thank you, and let me go keep my marriage together. Thank you.
We will now have a musical selection from the Medgar Evers College Concert Choir, co-directed by Mrs. Cheryl Y. Johnson and Mr. Fred Austin.
Rise to church in the morning, Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord. Are you ready, my brother? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm waiting for the church 'cause I'm ready to go. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord. Are you ready, my sister? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm waiting for the church 'cause I'm ready to go. Never shall forget the day. Right in the chariot to see my Lord. Never shall forget the day. Right in the chariot to see my Lord. Nothing was lost for the regret. Right in the chariot to see my Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day. My Lord, my Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. Rise to church in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride in the chariot to see my Lord, to see my Lord.
That's it for this week's edition of Education and Perspectives. We hope you'll join us next week for part 2 and listen to the words of the wisdom of the keynote speakers, Congressman Floyd Flake and Mr. Yanla Van Zandt. See you next week on Education and Perspectives for part 2 of our 1996 commencement exercises. I'm Marge Battle. Have a great weekend.
like to thank the Medgar Evers College Concert Choir for that beautifully rendered selection. I now have the pleasure of presenting Miss Andrea Williams, the valedictorian of the class of 1996. Miss Williams, who is graduating with a cumulative grade point average of 3.95. The highest in this class, and received a Bachelor's of Science degree in accounting today. Miss Andrea Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished members of the day, honored guests, graduates, friends and family, faculty and staff, good morning. Though he cannot hold strictly to the ways of others or match the ability of those he imitates, a prudent man must always tread the path of great men and imitate those who have excelled, so that even if his ability does not match theirs, at least he will achieve some semblance of it. He should act like a prudent archer who, knowing the limitation of his bow and judging the target to be too far off, sets his aim still farther, not to strike so distant a mark, but rather to strike the desired target through the more ambitious aim. Those words were written over 400 years ago by the Florentine politician Niccolo Machiavelli, words that have had a profound effect on me. Today, I would like to share them with my fellow graduates with the intent of creating the same effect on you. Today, as you finally reap the fruits of your academic labors, I want each and every one of you to take with you the simple message that is embodied in Machiavelli's words: aim high. His words, however, imply a deeper meaning. They are the secret to a well-cultivated garden called success. Success is not something that is achieved by luck and chance. Success is the attainment of a specific goal or goals. Today, each of you is a success. You had set a goal for yourself, and you have achieved it. You are the class of 1996. It must not end here. This is only the beginning. Each of us must determine new goals and new challenges for ourselves. We must be the prudent man of which Machiavelli speaks. We must seek out those great men and women who inspire us. We must understand what it is that they have done in order to become so accomplished. We must model ourselves after their example. We must cultivate our garden of success. We may not achieve their greatness, and yet we may even surpass them. Success must be constantly worked at. We must always push ourselves beyond our conceivable limits. We must become prudent archers. We must always strive to achieve that elusive goal. The extra effort that you put into attaining that which seems unattainable will help you achieve much more than you reasonably expected. You must always act as if it is impossible to fail. And in so doing, you will always defeat failure. For the last 4 or 5 years, we have all been treading the paths of great men and women. I refer to the dedicated faculty at Medgar Evers College. It is they who have thus far led us down the path of academic enlightenment. Many of us have observed outstanding qualities in various professors who have become role models and mentors. As an accounting major, and as any other accounting major here today, I'm sure will agree, at Medgar Evers, we have accounting professors who are heroes in their own right. I am also sure that each graduate is able to identify a hero or heroine of the Medgar Evers College faculty. They are invaluable assets. These role models and mentors go the extra mile for their academic apprentices by giving freely of their time, a gift that is not necessarily found on every college campus. I ask you to join me in applauding our distinguished faculty to show our gratitude for their tireless efforts. Medgar Evers College is an institution that must never be forgotten. No matter where each of us goes in life, we must always remember our alma mater. We must do more than remember. We must give back. To quote Luke chapter 12, verse 48, "Unto whomsoever much is given shall much be required." It is our duty as graduates of Medgar Evers College to honor our esteemed institution by giving back 100-fold. Medgar Evers College has truly surpassed the mission of 1969 for which it was formed, to meet the educational and social needs of the central Brooklyn community. Medgar Evers is now satisfying those needs on an international level for students from such diverse backgrounds as Africa, Asia, the West Indies, and South America. Today, our institution has a great man at its helm, Dr. Edison O. Jackson. Since 1989, President Jackson has been a catalyst for positive growth and change at Medgar Evers. He began with his 5-year agenda, Blueprint for Excellence, implemented in 1990. He is the prudent archer. He sets his aim at high targets and achieves what he has set out to do. And yet, his work continues. He is an outstanding role model whose path we must tread. My fellow graduates, we have already begun to tread the paths of great men and women and must always continue to do so, and success will continually be ours. In closing, I would like to leave with you a quote that is a compilation of excerpts from the poem Desiderata. I hope you will find these words an inspiration for years to come. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even to the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interest in your own careers, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. Be yourself. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the stars and the trees. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, and whatever your labors and aspirations, keep peace in your soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Williams, for your remarks and for your challenge to all of us to be at peace with ourselves as well as to understand who is in charge of our lives. At this time, we will ask the Medgar Evers College Concert Choir to render another musical selection.
How excellent, how excellent, oh yeah, yeah, is thy name. Oh, oh. Oh, Lord.
excellent is thy name in all the earth. He is so excellent. I cannot think of a better song to precede the introduction of our second commencement speaker. Who is she? There are certain stereotypical notions that come to mind when you think about a teenage mother on welfare or an abused and battered wife. The mind naturally conjures certain images when you think about a neglected and sexually abused child who is shuttled from one family member to another, one home to another. Lawyer, best-selling author, and nationally recognized and successful speaker are probably not the things that come to mind. But Yolanda Van Zandt herself defies the description. She is truly a remarkable woman. Donna Britt, the columnist for the Washington Post, called her extraordinary. Change is an inside job, she says. If you want to change your life, begin within. Some say that she is not a speaker. They say she is a teacher. Van Zandt travels the world teaching confused and conflicted, battered, and addicted women how to seize control of their lives. She teaches young women how to love themselves and how to ask for what they want. She teaches mothers how to love their children and how to let them grow and go. She teaches the importance of discovering your spirituality, not merely religious identity. She teaches principles, the principles of conscious breathing, unceasing prayer, patience, forgiveness, faith, unconditional love, and her favorite, the principle of minding your own business. The principle of minding your own business. You cannot give what you do not have. Learn to take care of yourself first, and everyone else around you will benefit. She has the opportunity to distinguish honor as one of 3 women invited to address over 10,000 men at the pre-march rally on the eve of the historic Million Man March. Van Zandt has a message for men too. You cannot expect to evolve, she says, politically, socially, or economically until you evolve spiritually. In her latest work, The Spirit of a Man, a vision of transformation for black men and women who love them, she turns her gaze to healing. She says women cannot hope to heal themselves or their lives until the men in their lives heal themselves. Her focus on and knowledge of spiritual healing springs from her training as a Yoruba priestess, a minister in the ancient Nigerian culture, and as a student of the science of the mind. She is, graduates, a graduate of the great Medgar Evers College. With a baccalaureate of science degree, summa cum laude, public administration. She didn't stop there. She went to law school, the City University Law School at Queens College, and earned a doctorate of jurisprudence. She was not satisfied there. So she continued her education at Temple University Department of Religion and did doctoral work at that great institution. And the litany goes on in terms of her success and accomplishments. She is internationally known, not nationally known, but internationally known. And she is not confined, although some may want to confine her to by the color of her skin. She transcends that because of the kind of excellence that she has embraced and that she demonstrates in her life work. She is a spiritual being. She is the kind of person who has been able to overcome all of the odds and the obstacles as you have overcome to be where she is today. But she has not forgotten the bridge that brought her over. She is our friend. She is a great role model. She is a great ambassador for Medgar Evers College. She is one who believes that there's no power that can hold you down. If you put your mind to it, you can succeed. It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to some and to present to others the great, wonderful, intelligent, super sensitive, spiritually directed speaker of the hour, Dr. Yolanda Van Zandt, our commencement speaker, alumni of Medgar Evers College.
Ta-da. They said it would not be done, but ta-da. They said that Brooklyn would not have a 4-year institution, but ta-da. They said that we would not have a new building, but ta-da. Ta-da. 25 years. And what? Ta-da. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. And just in case no one has told you today that they love you, let me be the first to say, I love you. I love you because you're mine. I love you because I am not my sister's keeper. I am my sister. I love you because I am not my brother's keeper. I am my brother. I want you to turn to your neighbor, please, the graduates and the people in the audience. Could you just turn to your neighbor? He's on the left or the right. Look your neighbor in the eye and say, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. Life sure looks good on you. Now, would you answer your neighbor by saying, neighbor? Oh, neighbor. I'm glad you know what you're looking at. Now give somebody a hug. I haven't seen anybody touch anybody in this place today. You people over there, give somebody a hug. Touch somebody. Yes. Yes. You know, if you don't hug, you get ugly. In the spirit of the most honorable Medgar Wiley Evers, and in honor of his name, I ask my elders on this day for permission to speak. And if none are in opposition, I give honor to the Honorable President Edison O. Jackson, to our Vice Chancellor who is present today, to my faculty that took me as a raw diamond. I wasn't even a diamond in the rough, I was raw. And molded me far beyond my wildest imagination. I give honor to you today. I know there's some grandmothers in this graduating class. Would you please stand up? The grandmothers, I give honor to you today. Yes. I know there are some first generation college graduates in this class today. The first in your family, stand up. I give honor to you today. I know it's true. I know it's true because I'm not your keeper, I am you. And I know if it's true about me, it's true about you. I know that there's somebody in this graduating class that is overcoming, in recovery, being delivered from something today. I want you to stand up and let us honor you today, because I know you're here. I know you're in this class today. And on behalf of our ancestors, the creator of this day, of this wonderful faculty, the staff, the president, I say ta-da to you. Ta-da. I'm telling you, I give honor to my speech teacher, Dr. Mary Umalu, who made me give my first speech. I want you to know that I did a lecture on quiche. How to make a quiche. That was my lecture in Speech 101. I want you to know that I'm not here to give a speech to you today. You've had speeches, you've had lectures. I've come home today and I just want to talk to you for a minute. I want to talk to you from my heart, because it was just 12 years ago that I sat where you sat. But because the forces to be and the powers that be did not believe in the power of Tada, we didn't have the grounds and an institution to graduate from. So we graduated from the Brooklyn Academy of Music, or Prospect Park. We graduated from Prospect Park. I'm not going to talk to you about that, though. I'm not going to talk to you about the fact that the year that I graduated, it was the result of students taking over the president's office and putting the president out because he didn't honor Medgar Wiley Evers. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I don't have much time, you know. I just came back from Aruba and my nose is burnt. My skin is peeling off my forehead, so I just want to take a few minutes. I see you out there hiding from the sun, you African people. I know this means you don't remember where you come from. So today I just want to remind you for a little bit about where you come from. I just want to talk to you because it's so good to be home. And I want to ask you to give your thanks to my signer today, Mr. Howard Hines, who travels with me, reminding us that there is an entire population of African Americans who've never heard an Iamla Van Zandt speak, who've never heard a Floyd Flake speak, who've never heard a Naeem Akbar or a El Haj Malik Shabazz or a Dr. Martin Luther King, because we forget that they are specially blessed. So I have Howard here with me today to remind us and to remind you, the future leaders, when you go out, don't forget any part of you. Don't forget any part of you. So because I'm not going to make a speech, I'm just here today to tell you something that you already know. I know the faculty probably won't be happy that I said this, but that's okay, they'll get over it. The process of education is not about anybody giving you anything. It's about drawing out from you what you already know. What you already know. And those people that we call faculty, that we call teachers, are the tools that are used to draw from your DNA the information that the Creator sent you here with. So yes, Mary Umalu was a tool. Catapane was a tool. Nawasiki was a tool. These were all blessed and divine tools that loved you so much. They agreed to share a part of their life with you and draw from you what you already know. But I want you to remember that that will continue as you move forward from this day. That you're not going anywhere to get anything from anybody, but you're coming to give what you already have. You're coming into every situation as the blessing. Did you know you were the blessing? Did you know you had the power of Tada? And that wherever you go, you take that with you. But in order to do that, there's something I just need to tell you. I know y'all wanted me to make a speech, but I just need to tell this to you real quick. Since we're just family and everything, we can talk among ourselves. I know that many of you probably don't realize this, but there is a wide audience of people outside this place, because everybody here love you, they happy. But there's some people outside of this place who are not going to be thrilled that another group of brown faces has a piece of sheepskin. I know that comes as a shock to you. I know it does. But I just want to talk to you for a minute about that. These people who are not happy that you have a piece of sheepskin are what I'm going to call today, because I'm being nice and company, spiritual thieves. Yes. So what I've come home to tell you today is, don't let anybody steal your spirit. Nobody. Under no circumstances. Listen, let me just tell you something. You know, because I'm not you, I'm me. I'm not your keeper, but you are me. When I left here, old child, I was just so cute. So smart. Had my little degree, and I was just going out whipping it all over the place. Specking the doors to fly open. Specking. That's how you talk when you come home. And the people looked at me and said, "Excuse me? Who are you? And what is it that you want?" So I've come home to tell you today that when you leave here today, know what you want. Hello? Just checking. Don't go out here with a degree thinking that some gold dust is going to fall out the sky and fall on you. You got to get clear. Be clear about what you want and where you're going. And if you're not real clear, please don't follow the crowd. Don't be going along with people just because everybody else say that's the way you're supposed to go. Let me tell you, I was in Detroit getting ready to give a speech. And we were in this convention center. I didn't have a clue as to where I was going. There was a whole group of people. They didn't even know I was the speaker. I was all dressed up looking cute. So I just followed the crowd. We all in the crowd walking along. Next thing I know, the crowd turned and got on the escalator. So I followed the crowd and got on the escalator with everybody else. So we went up the escalator. It was the roof. We got to the roof, and the people who led us up there, you know what they did? They dropped to the back and act like they had never been in the front of the line. You know how people will do sometimes. Lead you into stuff. And then when they get there, they ask you why you're there. Know where you are going, so you will know who to follow. Know where you go. You know, see, you already know this. Because when you were little, people would say to you, "What you looking at?" Translate that now into a higher academic consciousness, and it means, what's your vision? What is your vision for yourself? What is your vision for your community? What is your vision for your people? What is your vision for your humanity? Have a vision, so that when people say to you, "What you looking at?" you said, "I'm looking at my vision. I'm looking at my future. I'm looking at my goals." And when you have a vision, it gives you focus. And when you're focused, you don't get taken off track by people who are going to the roof and have absolutely no reason to be going up there. So you got to have a vision. Let me tell you, just because I'm home today, I want to remind you of a few things. Things that you already know. Things that are in your bones, it's in your blood, it's in your DNA. Things that your grandmother told you. You know, your grandmother didn't have a degree, but she was a wise something. It's just that she never explained what she was saying, so she just got on your nerves. So most of the time when she was trying to tell you something, you wasn't listening. You was sucking your teeth and trying not to let her see you rolling your eyes. But we just talking among ourselves here. Grandma says, do what you were told to do. Know what that means? Now that you have a degree, I can break it down for you. Be obedient. Be obedient. First, to that still small voice that comes to speak to you, that comes to tell you what to do and how to do it, that comes to tell you when to go and when not to go. Be obedient. to the things that your grandmother told you. Your grandmother told you, mind your business. Don't go around running around minding, what's she doing? Oh, we graduated together. Look at, that ain't your business. Grandma told you this thing. Be obedient to that. And the thing you must realize that now you can understand because you have this wonderful degree is that you cannot command until you obey. You will never be able to lead anyone anywhere until you can follow your own mind. You see, your head is your 360-degree universe. And it is the only thing that is going to take you where you want to be. But in order to be obedient, you have to do what else Grandma told you. You have to have discipline. Hello? I know many of you are sitting here today by the pure Tada power and grace of God because you barely got that last paper in. Why? When they told you in January the paper was going to be due in April, did you wait till the day before it was due to get it done? I know I'm not talking to nobody in this class. Must be them people down there at Queens College. So I just want to remind you today, be disciplined in what you do. Have a vision and then set a disciplined approach to it. Life is not going to wait at the last minute for you. People who wait till the 11th hour run the risk of dying at 10:30. So you have to be disciplined about following a particular course for you. And remember what you're looking at. Keep your eye on the prize, as they say. What I like to say is see the end and let the universe take care of the details. Because the universe will draw from you what it is that you come here to do. Do you know that your purpose gave birth to you? That you came onto the planet with a divine purpose. People out there looking for themselves. Oh, I got to find my... Where are they looking? Where are the people trying to find themselves out? You are in your heart. You are in your quiet thoughts. You are in the sacred place within you. So as you become obedient and discipline yourself and listen to your quiet thoughts, your purpose will unfold. I don't want anyone in this class to go out here looking for a job. Because the metaphysical definition of job is just over broke. And as long as you have a job, that is what you will be. When you leave here today, what you want to do is get on purpose. Get on purpose using your God-given talents, gifts, and abilities. And yes, be proud of the fact that those God-given talents, gifts, and abilities are expressing through the body of a descendant of Africans. And remember what those traditions are. And remember what those rituals are. And remember what the culture is that brought you to this point today. Get on purpose. And the way you're going to get on purpose is to be willing to ask for what you want. Hello? You do not want to leave here and go work for $16,000. Don't do it. Ask for what you want. Because the universe is waiting to give it to you. Ask for it the way you want it. Make believe the whole universe is a big Burger King and that you can have it your way. But you won't have it your way if you don't ask for it. If you accept mediocrity, you will have mediocrity. If you accept less than you want, that is exactly what you're going to get. Listen, they did not have a job that looked like what I wanted to do. After I went to law school, I realized this is not what I want to do. This is a mistake. A $47,000 mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was just a path that I had to take along the journey. Please, please remember that the road may be bumpy, but it's all on the part of the path. And that no matter what you have to go through to get there, you will get there. So they didn't have a job that I wanted, so I created my own job. There was nothing in the world that they could train me to be an empowerment specialist. And that's what I am today, an empowerment specialist. Because I want to know who gave the first person that got a PhD his PhD. So if he could create a whole degree, of course I could create a job for myself. I'm a graduate of Medgar Evers. I'm smart. Create my own job. So this is what you do. Ask for what you want. And if you don't see it, create it. Create it. You have designer genes. The one who designed the universe. The genes of that one run in your blood. You can make it, and if you can't make it, pay somebody who can make it. Don't let anything steal your spirit. The people who don't want you out there. The people who will get you off track when you're not obedient. The people who will sneak in the back door and beat you out of what's rightfully yours when you're not disciplined. Remember what's in your blood and in your DNA. And remember what Grandma said. Grandma said flush. Remember that? House be full of people. You come out the bathroom and Grandma look you dead in your face and say, did you flush? Did you flush? Oh, Grandma, please. But what she was saying to you was, take time to flush your life out every now and then. Flush out the ideas that aren't working for you anymore. Flush out the plans that are not getting you where you want. Flush out the people who are not supporting you. Look around your life and say, why are you here and what purpose are you serving? And when you find people and conditions and situations in your life that are not serving your highest and your greatest good, what you gonna do? Flush. And then what do you do after you flush? You wash your hands. Wash your hands. That means don't go back and pick it up. Don't go calling somebody who hasn't called you in 2 months. Don't go looking for people you haven't seen in a season or two. Flush and wash your hands. Because anything that you let go of will make room for something better. So you've got to keep your life cleaned out. You got to clean your life out of little ideas. See nothing but the best for yourself. Why? Because you deserve it. Because you've got designer genes. Because you're a graduate of Medgar Evers College. Because you've been molded by powerful, loving tools. Everybody's not going to love you like the faculty at Medgar Evers loved you. But I know that doesn't surprise you. So I want to remind you of the spiritual thieves that will come to take your spirit. Let me tell you real quick. Fear is a spiritual thief. When you are afraid to ask for what you want, when you are afraid to honor who you are, when you are afraid of your culture, your history, your background, your family, when you are afraid of anyone or anything, fear will steal your spirit. So you cannot be afraid. You have to remember that the genes in your body are those of the people that built civilization. You have to remember that no matter what you did and what you don't have and who you are, that there is a power that loves you exactly as you are. And even when you make little mistakes, when you make poor choices and bad decisions, like going to law school when you want to be an empowerment specialist, even when you do things like that, and you get down, stay down for a minute, but then pull yourself up and remember that the same God that loved you yesterday loves you today. And the same God that guided you yesterday will guide you today. And the same God that brought them over here on the boat and through the fields and across the whip and through the water, that same God is present right where you are. Don't let fear steal your spirit. Let me tell you what else will steal your spirit. Dishonesty. Hello? I know nobody in this place is dishonest. Nobody tells little white lies, green lies, blue lies. Particularly people don't lie to the IRS. I know this to be true because this is my family. But dishonesty will steal your spirit. When you say yes and you really mean no. When you say you can when you know you can't. And when you fail to acknowledge the truth about yourself. When you tell yourself you are great when inside you feel that you're not. When you tell yourself you can do it when inside you feel that you can't. Be honest. Because dishonesty will come and make you live up to other people's standards. Dishonesty will come and take your vision off your goal. Dishonesty will come And unless you are strapped with your spiritual armor of faith, unless you are strapped with your spiritual armor of obedience, unless you are strapped with your spiritual armor of discipline, dishonesty will steal your spirit. So I just want to remind you today of who you are. To remind you not to let anyone or anything steal your spirit. I know this will come as a shock to many of you, but things are going to be bad sometimes. It's going to be hard sometimes. You're going to have your trust betrayed sometimes. You're going to have your ego bruised, brothers, sometimes. This is particularly key for the men. To understand that because you don't get it right the first time, or the second time, or the third time, is not a bruise against your manhood. That your ego can be bruised, but your spirit can never be touched. People are going to break your heart. Hello? Even with that college degree, people are going to break your heart. And when they do, I want to suggest that you don't whip your degree out and show it to them and tell them that you are immune from this. That you don't beat people over the head with your piece of sheepskin, demanding that they treat you differently. What I suggest is that you get still, that you go within. Whatever the adversity is that you face, you ask yourself, what is the lesson here? What am I learning here? How can I grow through this to a new level of consciousness, to a broader vision, to an expanded concept of myself? Yes, the spiritual thieves are out there, but once you strap yourself in your spiritual armor, once you strap yourself in your culture, once you strap yourself with a clear idea and a vision, there is no one and nothing that can stop you. So when you leave here today, armed with your degree, armed with the knowledge that spiritual thieves are lurking around, I want you to leave here strapped. Not strapped like Eyewitness News tells you, the young boys with pistols, the young women with Uzis. I don't want you to leave here strapped with a piece. I want you to leave here strapped in your piece. I want you to leave here knowing that your destiny was created before the ends of the world were formed. That you are only playing your role in a divine plan. That there is nothing you need from anybody. That everything you need, you already have. That you are the blessing. To just talk to my family for a little while. You know, come home and look in your eyes and see what I look like. Because you look like me. You feel like me. You love like me. And you're going where I'm going. And on your way there, I just want you to remember, when you're strapped in your spiritual armor, when you're on the lookout for spiritual thieves, when you know what's in your DNA, that the thing that will keep you pointed in the right direction is the knowledge that the finger of God will never point you where the hand of God won't make a way for you. I love you.
What can you say? Graduates, you have been so richly blessed today. Our speakers, and in particular Dr. Van Zandt, has shared with us this noon hour some instructions for being successful. And you see, each speaker that has come forward this day has spoken about their own spirituality and what it takes to be successful. I would hope that all of you would replay in that computer called your brain what you've heard today. See, it is not magical that people are successful. Dr. Van Zandt has told us and shared with us what it takes to be successful. And so we are indebted to you for what you have given to us and what you stand for, and your willingness to acknowledge the bridge that brought you over. And I'm just so thrilled and blessed that God has allowed our paths to cross, because you have also been an inspiration to me. So Dr. Van Zandt, would you please come? And graduates, because she is a graduate of Medgar, I would like for you to stand in honor as I bestow upon her the Presidential Medal for all that you stand for and all that you give, not only to us, not only to people of African descent, but to all humanity. And God will continue to richly bless you, because you are a blessing to so many. But also, to whom much is given, much is required. So we've heard so much. So I just want to, I'm just so full, so I'm just going to stop. You may be seated. Thank you very much. And graduates, if you don't play it back in your mind, I'm going to play it back in my mind. And also get a copy of the tape, which you may also get. I'd also like to acknowledge two great supporters of this institution. And the first is Assemblyman Al Vand. And if you don't know it, he was one of the founders, one of the visionaries who always was steadfast and made sure that this institution would always remain and be vibrant. The next person is Senator Marty Markowitz, who's also been a great supporter of our institution. Now, with all the great speeches that you've heard, we've come right now to confer upon you the degrees in which you have earned. So I will ask our distinguished provost, Dr. Dominic Novosiki, to come forward to present the graduates.
Will the faculty please rise? Faculty, please. Faculty. Now, will the candidates for graduation please stand? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the schools and their respective departments, we present to you the graduates for the Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Science, the City University of New York Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science, the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, the Associate in Applied Science, Licensed Practical Nursing Certificate for August 1995, January 1996, and June 1996.
Thank you, Mr. Provost. By order of the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, and by the virtue of the authority vested in me, I now confer upon these candidates the degrees and certificates appropriate to their course of study, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations thereto appertaining. And as a symbol of your new status, graduates, please move your tassels from left to right. Congratulations. You may be seated, and I know you're saying, thank you, Lordy.
That's it for Education and Perspectives this week. We hope you have enjoyed joining us for our 1996 commencement exercises. We invite you to join us again next week on Education and Perspectives for another exciting program. I'm Marge Battle. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week on the Excellence Showcase.
This is the highlight of the graduation. We are there ready. We traditionally say hold your applause and don't take pictures, but this time I will not say that. Dean Alan Singleton of the School of Business and Public Administration will introduce the chairpersons of the department in the school, who in turn will present the graduates to their respective degrees.
Thank you, Mr. Provost. I will now ask Dr. Nathaniel Izuma, Chairperson of the Department of Accounting, Finance, Economics, and Business Law, to present the graduates for their degrees. Doctor.
Will the graduates for the Bachelor of Science in Accounting please stand? Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the Department of Accounting, Finance, Economics, and Business Law, I present to you the graduates of the Bachelor of Science degree in Accounting for August 1995, January 1996, and June 1996. Will the graduates for the Bachelor of Science in Accounting please come forward?
Mr. President, at the 25th anniversary of Medgar Evers College, it is my privilege to introduce to you the first graduate, fellows in Harvard, graduating with a BS degree in accounting. Marcy E. Taylor with a BS degree in accounting. Rhonda D. Myers with a BS degree in accounting. Laura Tross with a BS degree in accounting. Colleen Piankowski with a BS degree in accounting, graduated magna cum laude. Chris DeCisa, graduated with a BS degree in accounting.
Sherman Cooper with a BS degree in accounting. Louis Wells Springer with a BS degree in accounting. Claudia John Niles with a BS degree in accounting. Michael Bryan with a BS degree in accounting, graduated magna cum laude. Ingrid Nelson Garrett, graduating summa cum laude. Sandra Hutchison with a BS degree in accounting.